I never imagined that one small mistake could change the course of my entire life. My name is Evelyn Carter, and I lived in a little town called Willow Creek, California. I was an orphan, alone in the world, and my only home was a small corner of a laundry shop where I worked for barely enough money to survive. My days were long, my nights colder, and my heart often heavy with loneliness, but I always whispered to myself, at least I have somewhere to stay. One morning, as the first rays of sun filtered through the dusty windows of the shop, a well-dressed woman in a bright yellow dress stormed in. She collided with me before I could even react, and her sharp voice cut through the morning calm. She scolded me for ruining her expensive dress. I apologized, my hands trembling, but her fury was relentless. My boss, Mr. Harper, tried to defend me, but the woman, Victoria Langford, threatened to stop her business if I remained employed. The decision was made, and just like that, I was thrown out of the only place I had ever called home. I wandered the streets aimlessly, clutching my small bag of clothes. As night fell, I discovered an unfinished building, cold and empty. It wasn't safe, but it was better than sleeping on the street. I laid down on the cold cement floor, hugging myself, whispering prayers for a better tomorrow. Morning came, harsh and unforgiving. A group of construction workers discovered me, and I pleaded for a chance to work. They were hesitant, warning me that the work was too hard for someone like me. I told them I could handle it, my voice steady with determination. When Alexander Steele, the owner of the project, arrived, he scanned me with curious eyes. My heart raced as I explained my situation. After a long pause, he nodded, allowing me to start the next day. The work was grueling. The sun beat down on me, cement burned my hands, and my muscles ached in ways I had never known. But I persevered. I carried heavy blocks, mixed cement, and fetched water tirelessly. The workers began to notice my strength, and Alexander could not ignore my resilience. There was something about the way I quietly endured, about the light I carried even through hardship, that drew his attention. A week later, Alexander visited the laundry shop to pick up some clothes. His eyes lingered on me longer than necessary, and I felt a strange warmth in his gaze. He asked me to join him at his home, offering me a chance to work in a safe place. I hesitated, unsure if I could trust anyone, but desperation won. That night, I entered his mansion, a world so different from the streets and the small shop. The lights, the gardens, the warmth. It was overwhelming. Victoria was there, and her glare cut deep, but Alexander's calm presence made me feel safer than I had in years. Life in the mansion was a battlefield at first. Victoria made sure every task was unbearable, denying me meals, mocking my every move, and trying to break my spirit. But Alexander always intervened quietly, offering small gestures of kindness, a smile, a shared cup of tea, a word of encouragement. Gradually, those moments became the highlights of my days, a slow and steady warmth that grew in my chest. One evening, after Victoria had stormed out in anger, Alexander and I were alone in the library. He handed me a book I had admired weeks ago. I felt my hands tremble, and I realized then that this simple act, this quiet thoughtfulness, meant more than anything I had ever known. Our eyes met, and for a heartbeat, the world faded. His hand brushed mine lightly, lingering just a second too long. My breath caught. Later that night, He knocked on my door. I opened it, startled, and found him standing there, his eyes dark with intensity. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him, his presence filling the small room. His fingers brushed my cheek, and I felt a shiver run through me. He leaned in, his lips tracing mine in a slow, deliberate kiss, soft at first, then deeper, hungering for me. I clung to him, our bodies pressing together, and for the first time in years, I felt truly desired. In the quiet hours that followed, we whispered secrets, shared long touches, and explored a closeness I had never imagined. Alexander's hands lingered on my back, pulling me close, his voice low and husky as he murmured words of reassurance and longing. Every brush of our lips, every gentle caress, ignited a fire within me, a connection that went beyond the physical. It was trust, it was care, and it was undeniable love. Victoria, of course, tried to interfere. She burned the dress Alexander had bought me, mocked my efforts, and spread lies. But Alexander's faith in me never wavered. He defended me fiercely, shielding me from her cruelty, and in those moments, I felt the depth of his heart, the strength of his love. Our intimacy grew not just in stolen kisses but in shared conversations, quiet touches, and the knowledge that we were each other's safe place in a world full of chaos. One night, during a storm that rattled the windows of the mansion, Alexander and I found ourselves alone in the drawing room. The fire flickered, casting warm shadows across the room. He pulled me into his arms, holding me tight as thunder rolled outside. I rested my head against his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. Our lips met again, passionately this time, and I felt a deep sense of belonging. He whispered my name over and over, each one like a vow, and I felt my own heart responding in ways I had never known. The final confrontation with Victoria was inevitable. Alexander exposed her lies, and she was forced to leave the estate in shame. Relief washed over me, but it was Alexander's gaze that made me feel truly seen. He held me close that night, his hands trailing down my arms, over my back, and into mine, whispering words of love and desire. We spent hours in each other's arms, learning the contours of our hearts and bodies, savoring the warmth and trust that had grown between us. Months passed. Alexander asked me to be his wife. I cried tears of disbelief and joy, overwhelmed by the journey from the streets to this life of love and security. We married in a small, intimate ceremony, our vows full of sincerity and hope. I wore a simple dress, my heart full, and Alexander could not take his eyes off me. That night, in the quiet of our room, we held each other close, exploring the depth of our intimacy with tenderness and passion, discovering the magic of two hearts that had finally found each other. Today, I live a life I once thought impossible. I am loved, I am safe, and I am finally free to pursue my dreams, with Alexander by my side. Our love story is a testament to the power of resilience, kindness, and unwavering faith in one another. It proves that no matter how dark life gets, love can find a way, and hearts that are patient and kind will always be rewarded. To my amazing audience, what did you learn from this story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss the next fascinating tale of love, hope, and unexpected destiny.